Hey guys, Super7 here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the worst Ultimates Wave 2 Black Falcon, brought to us by the fine folks over at Super7, who will remain fine folks for not only this review, but the next review I'll be posting later today, so stay tuned for that, because I think Super7 learned their lesson after the worst Ultimates Wave 1, Captain Deadstar and Bacula, in the fact that they need to put a little bit more care into these guys. And by golly gee willikers did they. So we're going to kick things off with Black Falcon. We're going to wrap things up with Robot Reaper again later today. Stay tuned for that. But before I get too far ahead of myself, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look at this guy's accessories, because he comes with a metric load, starting off with not but one, but two alternate heads, one of which is screaming bloody murder and is on fire. The other one is screaming bloody murder and has an eye that's effed up and a horn that's broken on the helmet. Personally, I like this head the most. Of the three that we get, this one's doing it for me. So this is probably going to be the one I display him with. That said, the kind of Ghost Rider-y head's pretty cool too. He does come with multiple pairs of hands, starting off with some open hands, as well as some fist hands. And to go with that fiery, glowy skull head, he does have some fiery, glowy skeleton hands here, which are pretty cool. All the grip hands have the wrong hinge for holding weapons, but whatever. One of these days I'll get that right. And then my favorite, he's got the nipple pinchy hand. I'm kidding, it's for his Falcorang, whatever that thing's called. This right here, which has nowhere to go on him, unfortunately, but it's there. It's cool. It's a Falcorang. He also comes with a bagged lunch and a thermos, because the undead warlord of evil's got to eat too. Although, wouldn't this go right through him? I don't know what's under that armor. He could have skin still. He could be like the Horned King from the Black Cauldron, which I wish Super7 would get to already in their Disney Ultimates line. That said, he does come with an amulet with a real metal chain, which I've lost twice now because I'm stupid and a moron and self-registered idiot. So, yeah. Don't lose your runic amulets, kids, because they're a bitch to find afterwards. Then, of course, he has his iconic weapon, the sword. It's pretty cool. That is the only accessory the reaction figure came with, to my knowledge. He also has this cool spear, which looks more like a cattle prod, because it's got the double prongs at the end. As well as a shield with the Falcon on it. I will say, be careful with this handle. You don't want to break that, but as long as you heat the hand, you shouldn't have a problem with that. And last but not least, he does come with this cape, which does have wire in the sides and up around the collar. Not around where it goes over his neck, though. And then it's got this little button clasp you can pop apart and then pop back together, like so. But that's your lot. So he comes with a lot of stuff. That said, the one thing he does not come with that is actually on him, because I refused to take it off because it was a bitch to get on there in the first place, is the Mythic Legions 2.0 strap around his waist here. I put that on him so he could store his sword on his side and hold the spear in his right hand. I don't know, I just thought it would look cool that way, and it does, so you know what, sue me. But other than that, the figure is stock. I usually review figure stock, but this was such a pain in the neck to get on there. I decided to heck with it. So as far as Black Falcon goes, he has always been my kind of favorite worst character. I actually have the glow-in-the-dark version of his reaction figure, and you know, when they initially announced this guy, I was super stoked because it was before we had Captain Deadstar and Batula in hand, so we didn't know what we were in for yet. Thankfully, I'm gonna say this again, thankfully, Super 7 learned their lesson after that first wave, and they're like, oh, we need to give a crap about these and make them good. Not that those two figures were bad. I've had way worse Animal Warriors. But, you know, for the price, they could have been a lot better. I mean, freaking Deadstar had a torso cut that did nothing. Like, what's the point? So, as far as Black Falcon here goes, he is freaking gangbusters. I will tell you, while he could very well be Mythic Legions adjacent, I wouldn't put him on the same pedestal as, say, I don't know, Vorgus Vermilius, the Blood Armor I looked at yesterday. Not even close, but I could see this guy or Robot Reaper cracking my top 10 action figures of the year. I really could. So, as far as his articulation goes, he's got a double ball peg in the neck, which, you know, he can actually look up and down pretty well. He can tilt side to side, look side to side. That's all fine and good. His shoulders go up about that far. They go back down. They rotate forward and back. Usually I like the pauldron to be on the shoulder and rotate with the arm, but here, the way they are, it kind of makes sense that they don't. Are they coming unglued on me, or is that just... Alright, we're going to leave that alone. Okay. Yeah, that kind of felt like it was coming unglued for a second there. But, yeah, they do move out of the way. But you want to be careful not to unglue them by accident like a schmuck. Alright. Noted. But, yeah, that's fine. He does have a bicep swivel, which I did have to crack on mine. I had to heat up one side, I think. The other side did work fine out the box, but a very squeaky bicep swivel, but it is tight, so that's good. He's got a single elbow. Not very good range out of that, but it's there. A little loose on this side, too, but not so much on this side. This side's fine. He does have a gauntlet twist, but because of the way it's shaped, it doesn't really work. I mean, it kind of does, but not really. He does have a swivel in the wrist with a hinge. The wrong hinge for holding weapons, but whatever. He does have a ball joint in the waist. It does move around. As well as T-jointed hips that can kick out to the side about that far. Yeah, that far. Back down. They do rotate forward. What the heck? Did I pop something else? Am I ungluing stuff here? Because, oh no, it's just, it's this. It's catching on the armor plate. Alright. Everything's alright. Stupid. He does have a thigh cut. He does have a knee swivel with a hinge. Gets you about that far. Almost 90. Not bad. He's wearing armor. Like, cut him some slack. He does have a hinge in the foot with a rocker. And then I do believe... Does he have peg holes? Yeah, he's got peg holes at the bottom of the feet, just in the front. So, yeah, man. Cool figure. I like him a lot. Probably my favorite of the Ultimates thus far. Oh, there we go. It's just stuck under there. Or is it glued? No. I don't think it's supposed to be glued there. No, it's not supposed to be glued there. It's supposed to be off. But, cool figure. I like him a lot. Black Falcon was always my favorite of the first wave of worst reaction figures. I'm super glad to finally have an ultimate of him. And I gotta tell you, I'm glad they actually made an effort to make him look like black as far as his armor color goes. His name is Black Falcon. I always thought he was stupid that he was silver in color. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but having this guy now, I'm super stoked. I love this figure. This figure's awesome. So with that being said, I'm going to gear this guy up, and we are going to take a look at some size comparisons. And as promised, here is good old Black Falcon head swapped and geared up alongside his fellow worst cohorts, Captain Deadstar and blah 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 blah. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I think Super7 took note of the feedback from Wave 1 of the Worst Ultimates line and made not some, but a lot of tweaks to not just Black Falcon here, but also Robot Reaper, who we will be taking a look at later today, and basically made it to where the Wave 2 figures kick the ever-living crap out of the Wave 1 figures. That said, after having these guys for a while, they seem to have stiffened up a little bit, particularly Deadstar. I noticed as I was getting him out for this comparison, some of the looser joints on him felt a little tighter, so I'm not sure if that's dust buildup or what, but I'm all here for it. As long as he's not falling down and flopping on his face like a domino, I'm alright with that. Moving them out of the way, however. This, of course, would not be one of my videos without bringing in our two regulars. The Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus and the infamous K11 Spawn, who is about neck and neck with Black Falcon here, I think, as far as size goes. As far as capes go, he probably takes him on that front, but hey, nobody's perfect. That said, is it just me, or does Black Falcon qualify to be a member of the Men in Red and Black Club? I don't know, but with that being said, it's time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and for those of you wondering, no, I don't believe that good old Black Falcon here is on par with the Mythic Legions line brought to us by the fine folks over at Four Horsemen Studios. However, compared to Captain Deadstar and Batula from the first wave of Worst Ultimates brought to us by the fine folks over at Super7, it just seems like not only him, but Robot Reaper, who we will be taking a look at later today, so stay tuned for that. They just seem to have received the proper amount of care to where I can say, yes, this is acceptable. These are very nice figures. I'm glad I bought these. Whereas the first wave, while I technically didn't pay for them, like at all, I got them in a trade, they did feel like they had a bit to be desired. So I could say wholeheartedly that I am very glad that I picked up Wave 2 of these guys, and that one of them, because my top 10 action figures of the year video has rules, you know, will definitely land a spot somewhere in that video. I'm not quite sure where yet, but I'd be willing to bet money that at least one of them, at least one, will show up somewhere in that video in the near to distant future. I'm hoping to get that out a little bit earlier this time around because, what was it, the 2022 video came out in like March of this year? Yeah, that's not late at all, right? So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.